Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. To all my farmers in the Fraser Valley that suffered the flood, I'm here to give you some devastating news that you probably already knew about what Henry Braun was doing, getting the infrastructure money, and you could see that how he was manipulating Justin Trudeau, even though when he was no longer the mayor, he was so greedy, he needed the infrastructure money. Henry Braun went into organized crime with his friends that were loyal to him on the police board. They were his friends. It was supposed to be a conspiracy nobody would ever prove. He went in the city to buy up the small parcels of land, and he had counsel in his house to rig the decision over the community, and anybody that got wind of it and started to leak outside Vicky Hopes, because he controlled her, and Dave Sedu's ragged the newspaper, and anybody that leaked outside that to social media, they would go to Ed or Mike, Henry's two loyal friends. It was a ring, a mob well set up. The train tycoon thought it all through. A private police department that no one would ever question. They could pity to the general public. Gangs, the gangs, the fentanyl and the gangs, and the fentanyl and the fentanyl and the gangs, and we're investigating. Elite friends, Henry calling personal favors because he knew on social media other politicians see it, and the RCMP see it and go, yeah, that's insider trading. His son is a proving officer, he's stealing the information, enriching himself, counsel up at Henry's house, rigging the decision. And the Abbotsford police were wheeling his friends, Keelan Olenoff, Gertie Purdy's, and Mike Serb. And you could see that. I shit-kicked the Abbotsford police in their face as a politician. I have drove their teeth out their backsides, and they don't know what to do. Evie will save us because it's about policing. This is how disgusting they were. It was the RCMP, a mission, pissed all over the Abbotsford police after Henry's attempted murder, and they weren't going to take statements. They were so embraved with their stuff and their retardedness that they could fool everybody and we'll never get caught. Investigators and the RCMP said, Mr. Pelican, how does that look when you're going to court? And the prosecutor and everybody knows that this man's a leading investigator and he knows what it is to take statements and eyewitnesses, and he didn't do it. What's his statement going to be? Oh, Your Honor, I'll cut a deal. I did it for Henry. Top of the Abbotsford police were involved. That's why they can't defend Mike Sir. When Darren Brown opened the door of the insider trading and how Henry was rigging Cooper's farm over the general community 3000, Ron Funk, and how his dad was untouchable because of Ed and Mike. You saw the province, Pierre Polly had kicked the shit out of Ed and he distanced himself very, very far. He won't even come into town. You saw Kevin Falcon knock the crap out of Mike DeYoung and wouldn't even have him around, and still don't take pictures because he was a former attorney general, but he was a sitting MLA. And he figured that Abbotsford residents would go to him and he would tip Henry off, and Henry sent the cops. It was all an elite ring for money. And the Abbotsford top investigators were involved in it, massively involved in it. They know Dave Sedu's properties insider trading. It's gone as far as being the private police. How much is David Eby getting out knowing and holding criminal investigations through private police? As a premier, you can hold down investigations and say, this is the territory of Abbotsford private police. You can't come in. They're like fighting like gangs. This is my territory. Stay out. And now I'm on Barreltown. So let me explain something. I made it very clear who I worked for over the years. Was on the World Olympics. I wear the coat for the proudness of everybody coming together. Abbotsford owes and must say thanks to the Mission RCMP, a few men that helped stand up to fight and bring it to the world and to everybody, so assholes like David Eby can't defend it. I think he was in town, in my opinion, to say, Ross, where's my money from Vitalis on the Vanderpools? I'm gonna have to run an election. And that's what he was doing, because he didn't come in to take pictures. He hid in Ross's office, and that, now, you know, the staff of the city said, oh, Ross wasn't looking good. That wasn't a meeting, that was a beating. And it directly got the premier tied. So Eby, to stay out of it would say, I'm clear of it. I'm ordering the RCMP to investigate, not my shit old friend Bob Rich that I hired from Henry, or Mike Sir, or a loser. And they're going to come in on Dave Sadoo's insider trading because they headhunted that. They got grants, and they put it on when there's 5,000 farmers you could put it. And then on Vitalis, and then here in Barrowtown where my 76 million's missing. So let me tell you how the city staff, this is why the RCMP said you want to stay with it. Residents that work in local offices will start to see that Henry tried to kill you and used the cops, his friends, for money. And that's all it was, money. His big richness, he didn't want to go to jail for attempted murder, insider trading, and he had friends. And then he was smart enough, to pull Ed down, so Ed had to do the damage, and Mike will go. You're all gonna go, I tell you, you're all gonna go. Because when you got organized crime on a massive level like this, I don't even think they died in the line of duty. I think now they're stealing drugs, and somebody said they stole my shit and came in and leveled the Abbotsford police. I could tell you from everything that I've podcasted and been through, and you've seen the Abbotsford police threatening me day in and day out, making false accusations that I came from a bar and I was drunk and everything. The RCMP knew they were trying to frame you, or they're trying to get under your skin that you punch him and he goes in, oh, Your Honor, I'm a sergeant, he hit me. Oh, you gotta take sympathy on this crap. This is sympathy crap. These days are over as a politician feeling sorry for this crap. There's no sorry for it and bailing it out and coming up that it's a police department. These were thugs, complete garbage and thugs that did this. And they were in organized crime, not to take criminal reports, leave somebody from dead, knew the hospital reports, all the witnesses. They were bloody thugs, and they used that shield for leverage, and they sit in the police building with Colin Watts, and you can see Colin Watts trying to fly everywhere, going around to Souk Mangel, oh, please, please. He couldn't run the bloody company. It was out of control. They're thugs and under police, and they were going to keep him. So what am I doing here, Bill? I showed the farmers there's about 5,000 farmers that money on Dave Sadoo's property, insider trading, and he lifted that land knowing he had to be paid back for rigging that election. That's what the RCMP are the smartest at. And they headhunted it, and then they rushed it, and they got a corporate handout from Vitalis, and then they were going to create this co-op. And under this co-op, that you have to have quota, and everybody's got to go on. They had co-op. And they didn't do it. Vitalis is a private-owned company. That means they stood to gain. And then you couldn't get the trucks turned there and everything. But that was your money for Barrowtown or to help you clean your ditches. And they went and illegally did this. And the city then went after Ted Dykeman for hauling in dirt. What did I hear? So I told you I worked for Peter Wall, Aquilini, Mike Dakota, Stuart Olson, and was present in Fort McMurray to build the Devon oil camps. And I know when money's gone missing, kickbacks are coming, and I know when you got dirty people. And when you're raised in this all your life, and you're watched, you pretty much can find the other asshole that's doing it. And this is why they were rigging the decisions for Mr. Billionaire. And this is why you see Henry hanging on Patty Ross. Oh, he's still hanging in there. Oh, Patty, trying to own the city. Rigging the election, and thanks to the RCMP, she's on the world stage. You can't block candidates, you can't hold them from the newspaper. Hey, Vicky, he needed a favor. This is Jake's contracting. So let me tell you, David Eby gave $70 million to fix Barrowtown. It didn't go to drain the ditches. It didn't go to put the dike committee back. It didn't go out to help any of the farmers. They took the money and they were going to fraud it out. And let me show you how they frauded it out. And that's why you saw them always behind me when I was going to podcast, because they knew people in the city were telling on Ross. Out of the $76 million, they hauled sand here to build a province and say, we got $1 million or $2 million on sand here in the province paid. Now the sandbags can stay here till the end time, and you never need to move them. And they were working way out here in the boonies, just like a marijuana grow-up. You got to go way out when you're going to do them illegal acts. So they went way out here in Barrowtown. Then they wanted the minerals for the sand for a job site, so they tugged it all out. Then they convinced to hose more money out of the coffers. They called 3/4-inch crust in here. On the dimes, increasing time cards, Jake's contracting, collaborating with the city. And this is why Dave Seduca blackmailed Ross to get his dad's land lifted. And they hauled this 3/4-inch crush in here by the tons and tons because they needed it next for the next phase of their job sites and their friends. Billing BC taxpayers again. And then they hauled the 3/4-inch crush out here, increasing another $2 to $3 million, stealing out of the city expenditure. Then they came in here and put the lock blocks. Then a week later, after the city had told me I rented video, Jake's contract dropped its ass and ran. David Eby came in and he looked like, where's my bag of money? Where's my money? Then they went in, the city said, and they tried to put it in the city officials' funds to hide the money to embezzle it. And Peter Speranese, who swore an oath as the city manager, I'm retiring, and stole that money. Well, Henry knew, the city staff had told me, he knows Ross is now compromised and he needs to defend Ross at everything, and this is why you see Vicky Holmes and everything, and this is the farmer's money. Then when I come out here to podcast, he gets on his phone to his loser friend at the Abbotsford Police, sending messages through Mark Warkentine, who came from there, Amric Moran, I need a favor. Mr. Pelican's got the lead, and he's going to podcast the sign. Yes, boss. And you can see the Abbotsford Police line up in their cop cars. Mr. Pelican, we got a car from the bar, and we're here to bust you for drugs and alcohol and raid you. And then the lawyer says, I want the bar so Mr. Pelican could sue it. And Abbotsford Police go running. Gangs again. Me and the chief are meeting about gangs. Look at the big company embezzling this money right in front. Nobody was going to ever prove to the farmers, to taxpayers, to the RCMP that they were doing it. It's supposed to be a conspiracy. And this is why you saw the Abbotsford Police threatening me when I was going to shoot Darren Brown's signs as Blue Sky. He went in the city, he took all the information, he walked out, rigging the decisions. How did this happen? Was Henry Brown decided to take the law in his own hands and end my life. The Abbotsford crap, junk, garbage that you all know are sergeants and they're running around with their face half beat down, you can't touch me, pulled the ultimate filthiest act in society. They went to protect Mr. Millionaire and believed that unless we charge with our shithole little company and the crap they were doing, picking up prostitutes, racing Dodge Chargers, charges don't go forward, and they were going to call. Till it went to the Mission RCMP. Too many witnesses. They knew John Rustad was in my house. They knew all the politicians. Henry believed that Abbotsford residents and myself were not big competition for him. We weren't a big name like Bruce Bamman or the John Van Doggens, so he could do this with the Abbotsford Police. Them investigating filthy crap shit that walks on our street did this. The problem Abbotsford has and I have is I don't think they died in the line of duty. I think they advertised it to get a funeral to bury up their dirty officers. They can't be trusted out in the night when they're doing this. They all circled my house with the task force to threaten me, to pressure me out of town. They would be doing the same for victims. They would be doing the same if their officers raped somebody, and they would take this thing. This company had no oversight, no management, because Henry went in the city and he blocked it where it needed to be held accountable. And he went in there to set up his lucrative plan with his shit old friends, Rob Funk of Diverse, and did it. Till Mr. Pelican came along, knowing from developers, knowing the RCMP, and busted it open. Abbotsford must say, and Canada must understand, law enforcement around the world must understand. A few men in the Mission RCMP saw right through the bloody scam, saw through the shit of Abbotsford's junk and its investigating team and its constantly bullying. They were no professional. They were crap of society manipulating, and they can never stay there as an investigating. Abbotsford has to wipe them out, and they gotta be gone. When Collins Watts guys smashed my camera and my phone, it was because I was podcasting this out and they knew it. And rather than him apologize and go after it, he didn't. Then he allowed his guys at Ledgeview to pull up. I'm off duty. Here comes the big scare. I'm off duty. Pull over. Put a gun in my head and execute me because they stand to go to jail for insider trading. The Abbotsford top investigators were all involved in it, and massively. When they went after Councillor Mogel to rig the election, they were Henry's friend. There was no oversight. They do not deserve to stay. They do not deserve to be transferred. And you can see I'm on the largest stage of them all because they said they had friends. They went and that, you know, my friends, the Eddie, the politician, and the Mike Sir, and Mike DeYoung. I went to the world to get my friends and show you you're no bloody match. The top in leading investigating officers have to have their ass kicked. They knew better. They knew to take criminal reports. There's no fucking excuse, pardon my language, of that. We need to keep them. Do we need to keep them? They know where the fentanyl is. They ran wild on this town. Wild. They beat the young youth. They were racing the Dodge Chargers. They were picking up the hookers. They were threatening for this guy, Henry Brown, and everything. There's no bloody excuse. And they deserve to stand on the world stage. And that crawling little piece of shit, and Colin Watts crawling. And the question I have as a politician and as your mayor candidate, and I have it to Pierre Poilievre, who knows Brad Viss is involved in it, and I have it to Carney. David Eby has to be involved in this. He pointed Henry up to Kamloops to take out the mayor up there because Diverse was going to develop up there. Diverse and Henry are partners. This money doesn't go missing, and then David Eby doesn't ask for accountability and the thing. Then they hid it in the official community budget, and they were going to hide it. And now Dave's to do his property. Premiers after premiers were involved, but this went into attempted murder. And you can see David Eby pulling down. We need to keep the Abbotsford Police. We're going to move the Ag Center to UFB. We're going to dig a big pond in Abbotsford, all the money. Abbotsford is one of the dirtiest and corrupt cities because it wasn't run by the RCMP. And you could see it. I'm on the world stage for my life, for Abbotsford residents. I told you the EDA of Pierre Poilievre's witnessed this. I told you pastors, I told you dignitaries, and everywhere. I am going to light the Abbotsford Police up. There's no protection for them. They don't deserve this. We're in uniform, we should be protected. As a politician, I owe this to my city, and as a resident, I owe it to my city, and as neighbors and friends, I owe it to what they have helped me with and helped me pull up. But I owe it to the Mission RCMP that said, Abbotsford needs you, Mr. Pelican. You're in all the offices and you have all the intel. Don't let them push you to get you out of town because they're trying to cover it. You light them up. I'm on the world stage to say thanks to the RCMP, and I'm going to tell Colin Watts, I'm going to shove my boot up your ass. You could crawl everywhere. This was attempted murder, this was threats, and your shithole fucking garbage man were doing this. They don't deserve to have them on my streets. They don't deserve to be treated in this town, and I don't care what court you cry to and whose ass you kiss. This stuff got out of control, and it was your bloody responsibility. And then what you figured you were going to do is give that coward, that garbage, that trash, Mike Sir, a free pass out from going in front of our courts. And you were going to create a two-level system. And all my money for my farmers are missing and everything else. As Pierre Poilievre said it the best, the Mennonite mob. Henry set up a mob in Abbotsford through all the Mennonites, and he was loading them to council, and he was rigging the decision. Henry is the mastermind and the engine of it all. He set it all up. He went in there. He rigged it all. He put his kid in front. He put his brother in front. He had Keelan Olenoff. He had them all in his hands, Mike DeYoung and Ed Fast. And this is why they protect that piece of garbage so much. And now Henry stands behind trying to prop up Ross Siemens. To my Abbotsford farmers, there's 5,000 of you or more. I'm asking to be your mayor this term to bring the law in. I'm asking to be the mayor this term to go through the city books and open everything up. And everything they stole go back, and they're going to seize it. They're going to cheat to load Ross Siemens, and they believe this is what they are. But I'm also, my biggest fight was to bring it to the world stage, to the RCMP, win or lose, was to bring it here. And when I headhunted this, the RCMP mission said, run for mayorship or political office, and you can help your town and you can show it everywhere. Abbotsford's very grateful to the Mission RCMP, and we owe them. And I want to tell Colin Watts, I'm going to light your ass up, and I'm going to make sure your face is stamped on every fence post, every police force, every office with your shithole man, because the true law enforcement knows when I was in the hospital, you should have took criminal reports. But Mr. Millionaire had slipped you the wrong envelope. I'm live. Abbotsford, British Columbia, Barrowtown Waterworks, David Eby, and BC taxpayers have a right to know. Abbotsford wants to know, why ain't you asking why Jake's contract did this job 3 times and got the money? And are you going to hire Jakes to build a highway because now they proved that they've been dirty and they can inflate time cards and steal money? And if you were clearing it of it, you would be asking right now, that the RCMP investigate Ross immediately, and you pulled Dave Sadu's land off of Tracy Road off because it was insider trading. You know, you've seen Premier after Premier go bad. David Eby knows he's going down and he's going fast. He's loading his pockets out the back doors, probably in my opinion. And we need candidates that run and say, look, at what I'm in, I'm going to do what Mr. Pelican is. Peter Speranese ain't going to run. He's going to come back and he's going to answer for stealing that money. I'm live, Abbotsford, British Columbia, Barrowtown Waterworks.